Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to cover the rest of the week that was in pro wrestling. Now, of course, with me doing this video now, that means no coverage of Collision. That's because I am going to be covering MLW Slaughterhouse tonight. Should be a fun one. So, that just leaves us with MLW Fusion, kind of. I'll explain that. Ring of Honor, SmackDown, and Rampage. Definitely set up for a very interesting week. So without further ado, let's do this. As we first cover MLW Fusion, in which we see kind of a mix of things. We see Mance Warner and the Second Gear Crew building the Doomsday Chamber for tonight, which very funny skits, including them all driving off to try and go get some barbed wire, and they turn on a certain song. Now, I'm not sure what the song was, but it's definitely familiar. I'm gonna say you guys should go watch and figure it out. Intervening with these little vignettes are looks back at the matches between Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Alex Kane, in which the first one, I think the first one was when Alex Kane first got to MLW, which, yeah, I'm surprised it's been over a year. That dude's been killing it ever since he got here. And then they moved to their no ropes gotch style match, which I found to be a little bit boring, but it got the job done. It finished off with their encounter at Battle Riot, in which they were the final two, and Alex Kane picked up the win, which then led to his MLW title win against Alex Hammerstone. Now, only interesting thing is, it has been announced that Davey Boy Smith Jr. had to pull out of this booking because he had to have emergency surgery. Heal up soon, big man. So his replacement for tonight's match is former MLW World Champion, former New Japan Strong Openweight Champion, Filthy Tom Lawler. Making his MLW return. Been a long time coming. He's been doing some good stuff on New Japan Strong. And yeah, he's been killing it. So, welcome back, Filthy Tom. So that's pretty much everything to do with MLW. We then go right into Ring of Honor, in which we have start off with an interview from Serpentico, in which he's talking about his upcoming matchup with Eddie Kingston, the world champion, in which he doesn't necessarily have to beat him, but if he lasts 10 minutes, he's going to get a world title shot, which, interesting, to say the least. And then we roll right into Serpentico versus Eddie Kingston, in which Serpentico is doing a very good job at surviving early on, but then he just gets absolutely decimated by Eddie Kingston, including finishing him off with an abdominal stretch, which, you don't see that one every day. So, your winner, Eddie Kingston, and Angelico doesn't get the match. However, Serpentico doesn't get the match. However, post-match, you have Angelico, just kind of checking on his boy. Then Eddie Kingston's like, yeah, I'm coming over. I want to shake his hand. I don't care if he's hurt. So they then shake hands, and Angelico then gets into the face of Eddie Kingston. Pretty much says, look, you've been on top for a week now? I think it's time for someone to chop you down to size. Eddie retorts, oh, you want a title match, big man? And he's like, yeah, let's write it up. Show me what you got. So, yeah, in the future, we're getting Angelico versus Eddie Kingston, which, low-key, I'm looking forward to. That should be a great matchup. Next up, we have the Gates of Agony, who are Bishop Khan Toa Leona, a very good tag team, taking on Fresco and Watson of... I don't know, it's some weird faction that they got other guys sitting ringside. This was pretty much a squash match, including the Gates of Agony taking out the other two who were ringside. And they win with their double clothesline sandwich move. So, yeah, kind of a nothing match, but gonna be interesting to see what the Gates of Agony do from here. I do hope they get a shot at the tag straps. I think they deserve it. So next up, we got an interview from Daga, who is challenging QT Marshall for his Latin America title. Daga reveals, it's my first time in Ring of Honor, and I'm going to show not only this crowd, but I'm going to show QT what I'm capable of. And I know that belt very well. QT, I'm here for you and for that title. So, nice short and sweet promo from the challenger. We then get the Ring of Honor Women's title champion Athena taking on Maserati in a non-title contest. So, match starts off pretty much Athena dominating, but then Maserati getting some good stuff in. There were points that I thought Maserati would pick up a surprise victory, but then it turned right back to dominance for Athena, including a triangle choke for the submission victory. Post-match, usual Athena stuff, but then Athena gets distracted by, I guess, yelling at the ref. So then Billy Starks gets Maserati out of the ring and hides her underneath it, which is so funny. Billy, never change, girl. You're the best. And then, yeah, they walk out. And then Athena goes face to face with Billy. She's saying, "Oh, you better not be lying to me." And yeah, well, this is definitely leading to a Billy Starks-Athena feud at some point. I think it's more than time to pull the trigger. Anyway, next up, we got what was supposed to be a one-on-one interview with Big Shotty Lee Johnson. However, before that Lee Johnson could say anything, Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty interrupt, pretty much saying, aren't you tired of falling short? Aren't you tired of these moral victories? You want to be on the winning side? Get with us. Or you can just keep losing. Lee Johnson heel turn and joining Shane Taylor Promotions. That's an interesting idea. I don't mind it. Next up, we got the AAA Latin America Championship on the line as Daga challenges QT Marshall. Now, before the match can get going, QT has a mic, pretty much saying to Daga, "Pleasure to meet you, boy." I do know what Daga means in Spanish. It means dagger, which I don't think it does. Or maybe that's just a loose translation. I don't know Spanish. I do apologize. He then continues, "It doesn't mean champion. Doesn't mean greatest luchador of all time." And then QT brings up something the people in AAA have been chanting at him, and I will not repeat it. But then Daga says, "Yeah, I know what they're chanting. You're an asshole." Which, that sets QT right off. They start hammering on each other. Definitely a nice little tit-for-tat matchup we got here. 1 point Daga blocks a middle rope cutter, which that was impressive. Eventually, QT does get the cutter and the Dark Sheik driver, which, interesting thing. And, getting the victory. That's QT Marshall. So, it's still the champion. We then get an interesting Dalton Castle vignette, when she's talking about, doing stuff for the fans. Pretty much what he's been saying for the past couple weeks. Definitely going to be interesting to see what Dalton Castle comes up with in the near future. We then get this really underrated tag team match as the Infantry. That's Captain Sean Dean and Carly Bravo. Taking on Shane Taylor Promotions. That's Lee Moriarty and the man himself, Shane Taylor. And yeah, this was a very entertaining tag team match, playa. A lot of good back and forth, including the Infantry using their speed against Shane Taylor's power. But ultimately, Shane Taylor gets back in his powerhouse, including just a one-punch knockout for the win for Shane Taylor Promotions. Like, if there's one match you watch this week from Ring of Honor, I think that's it. Then we get a Billie Starkz interview. She's kind of getting in an argument with the interviewer, who is the number 2 minion for Athena, which is funny as heck. Billie Starkz pretty much says, yeah, I'm as excited as I am for this match. I want to go back for our second round of minion training. Did you say I sucked? And, interviewer trying to no, I didn't say that. I didn't mean that. Then, out of nowhere, Mercedes Martinez and Diamante interrupt. Pretty much trying to talk Billie Starkz out of being Athena's minion. Saying, she's going to turn her back on you as soon as she gets the chance. Billie starts to come back saying, you can't talk about my family like that. Family? That is one dysfunctional family. So, that's going to be leading to something, don't you worry. We then get this very interesting match as we have Angelico taking on Martin Casas. And if you don't know the name of Martin Casas, he was once Marty the Moth in a promotion called Lucha Underground, who sadly is no longer with us. Yeah, this was definitely an interesting one, including Marty, relishing in the pain of the moment, which is just, the facial expressions on this dude is second to none. Like, the action was fine, and he'll go with the win with the Indian Deathlock, and action was interesting, but I think seeing Marty again do his thing was entertaining enough. We then get Mercedes Martinez taking on Lady Frost, and honestly, this match was really, really good. You had the technical wizardry of Mercedes Martinez and the agile, kind of high-flyingness of Lady Frost, although she was grounded for a lot of this match. Like, it was definitely an interesting matchup. Lady Frost hits the Frostbite moonsault, but that only gets a 2 count. She goes for it again. Diamante goes up on the apron to distract her. Mercedes gets up, knocks Lady Frost to the middle turnbuckle, and then hits a Razor's Edge Dominator looking move. Honestly, I hope they pick a really interesting name for that, because that was an interesting move to pick up the win. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting little feud going forward. Next up, we got a backstage promo from Josh the Goods Woods. Pretty much saying, yeah, I've been on a roll for a bit now. I have a list of opponents I'd like to take on. And then it's revealed that Smart Mark Sterling has hired a coach for Josh Woods to get him to the next level. And it's revealed to be Pat Buck. Now, if you don't remember Pat Buck, he's been a producer for WWE. He's been in AEW for a good long while now. So, yeah, he's saying how fun it's going to be teaching you. And then Josh Woods pretty much says, look, I don't know why I need a coach. I pretty much have it on lock. Then Pat retorts, oh, this is why you're not going to the next level. You think you know everything. And I'm not going to be your coach anymore. Instead, let's settle this in the ring next week. So, Pat Buck in a match. Never thought I'd see that day. We then had this very fun match as legit Layla Hirsch takes on Willow Nightingale. And honestly, yeah, this is another match I think y'all should watch. Lots of good back and forth. Willow definitely overwhelming with her power, but just the finesse of Layla Hirsch, her technical ability, keeps her in the match until the pounce and the Babe with powerbomb for Willow to pick up the win. Now, post-match, Layla Hirsch attacks Willow, definitely pissed off about the loss, and then Sky Blue making the save. So, yeah, definitely, women's division is definitely looking up in Ring of Honor. Next match, we got Gringo Loco taking on Action Andretti. Andretti looking at his first run as a singles guy in a while. He's been teaming with Darius Martin. And honestly, this was a really good Lucha Libre match. Not a good high flying, but then Andretti trying to slow things down. Didn't think that was his style, but it did work pretty well. And then after a big old moonsault, your winner, Action Andretti. Which, definitely a match you could go watch and enjoy yourselves. We then get an interview with Ethan Page, who's been saying, yeah, I'm very happy here in Ring of Honor. I've been demanding competition for Ring of Honor, so tonight I've been given Christopher Daniels, a living Ring of Honor legend. And while I'll shake your hands before and after the match, I know Eddie is watching, and I'm going to hit my 5th win. So Chris, may the best man win. So, nice little promo from Ethan Page, a potential challenger for Eddie Kingston. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Next up, we got Billy Starks taking on Raquel Riveter, which, interesting ring name. Yeah, this was pretty much Billy Starks dominating, hitting the star 10 and into a crossface, which that was interesting for the submission victory. Post-match, Starks and Athena are walking up the ramp. Who comes out and attacks them? It's Mercedes Martinez and Diamante. So it does look like we're going to be seeing that feud go on. Maybe we'll see a couple tag team matches play up. So, yeah, we'll see. Now it's time for the most underrated matchup of the night, as Kip Sabian takes on Anthony Henry, one half of the Workhorsemen. And, yeah, honestly, if there's another match you should go out of your way and see for Ring of Honor, I think it's this one. These two worked really well together. They're seconds, doing minimal stuff, at least at first. Eventually, Penelope Ford does get up on the apron to distract Henry, which then leads to the Deathly Hallows, which is a great finisher name, to pick up the win. We then get a backstage interview with Griff Garrison. Who the heck is Griff Garrison? I don't know. He looks like Jungle Boy. Anyway. He's saying, yeah, it hasn't been a great couple weeks for me. Our team has been losing, and we are definitely not on the same page. That brings out Cole Carter and Maria Kanellis, who pretty much say, you have been losing the matches for us, but we do need to get on the same page. I see a ton of potential in this team, and you two have pretty much the same goal, and that's win the tag team titles. And you guys need to figure it out. So Maria walks off, and Griff extends his hand. I got your back if you got mine. And they fist bump. So it does look like Carter and Garrison are going to be on the same page. So we'll see. And now, next matchup, we got Christopher Daniels, the Fallen Angel, taking on All Ego Ethan Page. And, ooh, this was a fun matchup. Like, these two, while have respect for one another, they brought it in this match. This match was a lot of fun. We're near the end. Daniels goes for the Angel's Wings, but that gets countered right into the Ego's Edge for the victory for Ethan Page. Post-match, this brings out Mark Sterling and Tony Nese, in which Sterling invites Ethan Page to the Premier Athletes, which I guess that doesn't sit well with Tony Nese, because he's over there throwing a fit. Ethan Page then asks the audience, which that's definitely new for him, pretty much saying, yeah, I'm not taking you up on that offer. That's a hard no. Then Tony Nese offers up a match. Ethan Page then says, oh, this new offer I like, because now I have my own personal trainer. And next week, we're going to have a one-on-one session, which definitely could be a fun one. And finally, our main event of the evening, we got Scorpio Sky taking on Darius Martin. And yeah, this match was a little bit short for my liking. I wish it was given a tad bit more time. But overall, I think these two maximized their minutes, with Scorpio Sky winning via the TKO. So, nice little matchup to end the night. And, yeah, Ring of Honor was very, very entertaining tonight. It did go on a little bit long for my liking, but overall, I was sports entertained. Alright, that is it for Ring of Honor. We then move right into SmackDown, which I know it's been a while since I've covered SmackDown. It was definitely a fun one. We start off with a promo from John Cena, who keeps hyping up the night, saying, oh, it's a big night, big night. Almost immediately, Bloodline out. That's Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and Solo Sikoa. They get in the ring. Roman, with the microphone, says, hey, John, hey, Hollywood, if you're going to open the show, you got to do it right. And then he says, town we're in, acknowledge me, which I am getting so tired of. Like, I'm sorry. Roman ain't doing it for me right now. Anyway, Roman continues. You guys chant for a coward. He's only been showing up because I wasn't here. And it's convenient that others have been calling you the greatest of all time. And you know who the GOAT is. It's me, Roman Reigns. Now, we handled our business previously. So either you're going to leave on your own, or we're going to make you. Then Cena pretty much says, there's lots of anticipation of what's going on tonight. WWE has always been unpredictable. Who knows what's coming next? But Roman, I'm going to throw you a curveball right now. I'm here to acknowledge you, which got it. Kind of a bit of a boo from the crowd, which that was interesting. Calls Roman's title reign the greatest accomplishment of all time. But I'm not here to challenge you for the title. I haven't earned it. But I know someone who has. LA Knight comes out. He's full of piss and vinegar. And he goes right up to Roman with the microphone. You pissing your pants yet? You're the tribal chief, right? Defending champion? All you are is standing in my way. And you've been sitting at home with that title, not defending it. And things have changed around here a little bit. And everyone else is gonna tell you whose game it is. L.A. Knight. Yeah! Roman Reigns retorts, I'm proud of you, kid. They say your name now. But I've done things you couldn't even have imagined. Who are you standing in my ring right now? Talking like that. And then Roman, LA Knight retorts, talking like that gets you talked about in the past tense. Which, that was something. And then before either of them continue, Jimmy Uso attacks LA Knight with John Cena just kind of chilling in the corner, which is weird. Then LA Knight gets up and dumps him right over the top rope. And then Roman, Paul, and Solo then bail out of the ring. And Solo gets a little instructions from Roman. Solo gets up on the apron, points to LA Knight, points to himself, tonight. Which, that's interesting. LA Knight then gets back on the microphone. For those of you who don't speak dumbass, Solo just said it's going to be you and me tonight. Solo, you're going to come on back down here and be stomped out, and then I'm going to use you like a mop. Which, interesting turn of phrase, but I'll let it slide. Definitely an interesting opening promo. It does look like we're going to get Roman versus LA Knight at some point. A lot of people are pointing to Crown Jewel, which, that's absolutely fine. I don't know. I don't see LA Knight winning that. That's for sure. Sorry to all you LA Knight fans. It's not quite his time yet. Anyway, we go right into our first match of the evening, and it's a tag team match, playa, as the Brawling Brutes, that's Ridge Holland and Butch. No sign of Sheamus in a while, which, that's concerning. Last time we saw Sheamus, he was taking on Edge in his last WWE match. Think about that for 2 seconds. Anyway, and they are taking on the returning Pretty Deadly, which, glad to see them back. They're a great act. And, before the match, you get a little pop in circumstance from the announcer. And then, Prince comes out in a wheelchair. He's kind of struggling to get up from it. Then he gets up and he starts celebrating, which I love the characters of these two. These two are awesome. And, this was a very, very hard-hitting match from the Brutes. At one point, Ridge Holland hits a backdrop on Prince on the apron, and then Prince comes up. He's grabbing at his knee. Looks like he's hurt again. But then the other dude hits a big old kick from the apron into a roll-up for the victory for Pretty Deadly, who go up the ramp and celebrate with Prince riding around in the wheelchair again, which, nice little attack from Pretty Deadly that definitely, adds to their character. I really enjoyed that. Then we get an interview from Carlito, who is officially a SmackDown guy, coming back. And he's saying one word that can describe my return. Cool. He then takes up the apple. Looks like he's going to bite it. Then out comes Bobby Lashley, which, if you remember, those two had a pretty interesting rivalry back in the day. Lashley calls his return amazing. But last time I saw you, I was beating you up 6 ways to Sunday on SmackDown. And welcome back to my show. And then it gets teased. Carlito versus... Carlito wants his first match, singles match back in WWE to be Bobby Lashley. In which, yes please. But then before Lashley can answer, the Street Profits attack Carlito and leave him laying. Street Profits and Bobby Lashley then walk off. Then there's a cut. We cut back. We got the LWL, who apparently includes Dragon Lee, which, I don't mind that. Looking after Carlito, trying to get him up. Then in comes Bayley, who is looking for Adam Pearce, who's saying, look, I want to set up a championship celebration for Sky. Then Zelina Vega gets in her face saying, oh, there's more pressing matters to attend to here. Carlito got taken out. And they start kind of yapping at each other for a bit. Then Pearce says, enough! And that breaks it up. If you want to settle this, get in the ring and settle this. Then we see Roman and the Bloodline backstage. Jimmy is sitting on Roman's couch, drinking water or whatever. Roman asks, what are you doing out there, Jimmy? Jimmy retorts, yeah, I'm taking some notes from your playbook. I've called it all audible. Then Roman asks, oh, you're the QB now? If you were the QB, what would you do? I'd get Jay. And Roman retorts, Jay is old news, and Cody is Jay's partner now, and that's a slap in the face. Why don't you go handle this? Because I call the police. So, that leaves it a bit ambiguous. We'll see a little bit of that a little bit later. We then get Bayley versus Zelina Vega, which honestly, it was way too short. I know they're trying to give Zelina a chance, but I don't know if it's working. Zelina tries for code red, tries to get the pin, but Io Sky is on the apron, eats a 619, and then Bayley with the roast plant for the victory. Post-match, Damage Control attacks Zelina Vega. Then out comes Charlotte Flair to make the save, because of course Charlotte Flair needs to be associated with the title. Anyway, we get our Triple H in-ring promo. Pretty much saying, yeah, we're on our way for Crown Jewel. Survivor Series is around the corner. And I want to call the attention to the unsung hero of WWE, Adam Pearce, who is standing in the corner. Saying, as an official, you're doing a great job. Thank you for that. They say shake hands. But this job can be difficult. So you shouldn't be doing it alone. You are getting an official promotion. You are the new GM of Raw. So, WWE bringing back GMs. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'll get into why. Now, before Triple H can introduce the new GM of SmackDown, out comes Dom Mysterio, who pretty much says, Judgment Day were screwed out of their tag titles. Now Cody and Jay are defending here on SmackDown before Judgment Day could get a shot on Monday. And then Triple H retorts, I thought they pumped in that noise. That's very loud here in person. Mentioning, the crowd reactions for Dom, which, that's like nuclear heat, which is great. Then he tries to continue. Jimmy and Jay defending our titles here tonight. We got that shot on Monday. Triple H then retorts, look, you're yelling at the wrong people, kid. He's the GM of Raw. You need to talk to the new GM of SmackDown, former NWA World Champion Nick Aldis, who gets in the ring. I guess he was sitting ringside because he comes from the other way other than the ramp, which is interesting. He thanks WWE for the amazing opportunity. And he and Adam Pearce shake hands. Do healthy competition. And then he turns to Dom. He says, oh, Dom, I know you. I'm a big fan of your dad. Nice little burn from Mr. Aldis. And then Nick Aldis goes to reveal the trade that was made to get Jey Uso on Raw, coming to SmackDown. Before he could finish, Dom is like, nobody cares. What's your name, man? Then Aldis retorts, we'll get to you in a second, young man. But we're going to introduce SmackDown's newest star, Kevin Owens, which officially breaks up the team of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which makes me a little sad. So Kevin Owens comes out. He runs right into Dom. Stunner to end the segment. So, my thoughts on this. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of on-screen authority figures because it's been done to death by WWE. However, the past, couple years or so, Adam Pearce has been more hands-off. Like, when he's needed, he's on there, but he's not the main focus of the stories, which is great. And, WWE now bringing in official GMs back, I'm cautiously optimistic. Because, obviously, this could add to the stories. We could see, different authority figures dealing with different people. So, yeah, definitely cautiously optimistic about that one. Just keep them from major storylines. I don't need to see them wrestle. I don't need to see them feud with anybody. They're there to make matches and to break up fights. That's it. And then we see next up, and also Kevin Owens' SmackDown, I guess, is interesting, but he and Roman have kind of finished their story off. And, seeing Owens and Zayn being broken up, that's kind of heartbreaking. Like, maybe they've done all they can do as a tag team, but I would like to see them stay together. I don't know. Then we get to see the Bloodline backstage again, with Roman saying, Kevin Owens is now on my show. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso are now running around my show. And Jimmy, you're just sitting here on my couch drinking my water. I told you my play, and you're just sitting here. And Jimmy is like, you serious? And Roman is, imagine if I was. Now get going. So Jimmy is like, yeah, I'm going to go run the play. I'm going to go take care of business. Come on, Solo. We then get a nice little Dragon Lee vignette. I hope there is some plans for him in the near future, because Dragon Lee is absolutely amazing. We then get Chelsea Green and Piper Niven talking backstage to Nick Aldis, talking about getting replacement titles because the current ones they have are cursed, which, no duh. Anyway, Charlotte Flair enters, Nevin and Green then walk off. It is then revealed by Nick Aldis his first match he's going to make is a championship match between Charlotte Flair and Io Sky, because if it wasn't for Damage Control, you'd be the champ right now. And then Charlotte Flair says, thank you for that, Mr. Aldis. She turns around right into the face of Jade Cargill. And Triple H says, Charlotte, Jade, Charlotte. Anyway, teasing Jade Cargill on all three shows, that's definitely interesting. I'm going to say this. This feels like when Brock Lesnar was an undisputed champion and Paul Heyman... Was it Paul Heyman? No, it was Eric Bischoff and Stephanie McMahon, who were the GMs of the shows, were trying to outbid each other for him. This kind of what it's feeling like. And it makes Jade feel like a big deal, which is... It's great. I can't wait to see where Jade ends up and who she starts her WWE career against. And not Fine Alamo. We got our semi-main event match as the undisputed tag team titles are on the line, as Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes are challenged by A-Town Down Under, which is a great name for this team. That's Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. This match was ultimately set up on social media, with Cody Rhodes issuing an open challenge to anybody, and Theory and Waller answered it. This was a heck of a fun tag team match, playa. Like, the nice back and forth between the two. One point, Waller goes for his stunner that gets ultimately blocked and eaten a super kick. Yeah, the Cody, the dive by Jay to take out Waller, and the Crossroads for the win and the retention for Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. So then Cody and Jay walking back up the ramp. They're celebrating. Roman's music hits, but out comes Jimmy and Solo. So they have a little stare down for a minute. Then out comes Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. They walk out, Roman having a nice little stare down with his future challenger for WrestleMania 40. WWE, do not screw this match up. And while they're staring each other down, jawing with one another, Aldis and some officials come on down and just try to smooth things over. Which, I'm glad they're WWE are still having teases for this matchup, and they are still at least semi on track. So that's good. And finally, our main event for SmackDown, we got Solo Sikoa versus LA Knight. And honestly, LA Knight got the pudding beat out of him. Like, this was definitely a solo showcase match for a bit. Knight does get some stuff in, but this was definitely the solo show. Hit him with a bunch of Samoan drops, in which that looked really nasty. LA Knight fights back, including with a bunch of DDTs, some stomps. He gets out of another Samoan drop attempt. Goes for the BFT, but Solo powers out of it. Clothesline. This brings out Jimmy Uso, who looks to attack LA Knight. John Cena intercepts him, hits an AA, a Samoan spike for John Cena, and then a BFT front to Solo, where your winner, LA Knight. And then post-match, who comes out but Roman Reigns, and hits a big old spear on LA Knight to close out the show. A very interesting night for SmackDown, especially with them bringing back, general managers and breaking up Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which still makes me sad to think about, but overall, entertaining episode of SmackDown. Gonna be interesting to see how they step things up next week. And finally, we get into Rampage, which starts right in the middle of a 6-man tag team match playa, as we got Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, and Daniel Garcia taking on Matt and Jeff Hardy and Brother Zane. And by the way, I missed the heck out of Private Party. Where's Mark Quinn been? Like, dude, come back. We miss you. Anyway, nice, little back and forth bout from what I saw. But then after a big old clothesline and a nasty swinging DDT, your winners, Angelo Parker, Matt Menard, and Daniel Garcia. Now, post-match, Garcia's trying to do his dance, but Matt Menard keeps saying, "Easy, big dog, easy." So, we'll get to that a little later. We then try to get an update on Rey Fenix from Penta, but that gets interrupted by Bullet Club Gold, in which Jay White says, "Oh, what's Zero Miedo meaning? It means 0 belts, just like your brother. And while you guys are such a great team, you're matching with your 0 belts." And Penta retorts, my brother actually won his title. You stole yours." Then Jay White retorts, "I've earned every single speck of gold on this title. I've beaten them all, and I'm going to beat you too, Penta." And Penta retorts, "You've never faced anyone who has 0 miedo." So it's set up that next week we're going to see Jay White taking on Pentagon Jr. on Rampage. And that's going to be fun. Then we get an interview with, the previous guys in the match, including Jake Hager, who pretty much says, yeah, great team victory. And then Matt Menard says, look, Daniel, I've been done with the dancing. It's time to get serious. Then Jake Hager interrupts. Look, we got the win tonight. You guys got to cool it. And then Matt retorts, you want me to cool it? You know who I am. I can't cool it. And everyone else needs to squash this. And then he walks off. So, definitely going to be interesting to see where that goes. So, yeah. Going to be interesting. We then get a one-on-one contest between Jay Lethal and Trent Beretta of the Best Friends. And, honestly, yeah, this was a nicely paced little matchup. That gets taken to the outside for a little bit. They get back in the match, in the ring. Jeff Jarrett tries to get on the apron, but the ref stops him. Trent Beretta goes for a suplex. That gets countered. Jay Lethal with a big kick into a lethal injection to pick up the victory. And it looks like Jay Lethal is shooting for Ring of Honor World title, which he did hold in the previous iteration of Ring of Honor. So that could be an interesting little matchup for Eddie Kingston. Then we got a promo from Ortiz, formerly of Proud and Powerful. Then Ortiz pretty much reveals, the reason I wanted to see our team stay together is, Santana, you believed in me when I wouldn't. And now it's been revealed that you weren't standing next to me. You were standing next to me, not with me. So then Santana then interrupts, pretty much says, what happened to you, man, when I was out? Where was my brother for years while I was handling my injury? We're going to handle this our way. And then Ortiz rebuts, yeah, that's the problem with you. You only care about yourself, and I don't need you anymore. Then Santana retorts, yeah, when we were teaming, I was carrying you. That's why my back gave out. So, gonna be interesting to see their first matchup in an AEW ring. It's gonna be brutal. This next match, we got the return of Emi Sakura. Good to see her back in an AEW ring, taking on Sky Blue, who is still feeling the effects of Julia Hart's corruption. And Sky Blue definitely bringing up the brutality in this match. Nice, definitely some back and forth, but then after a code blue, your winner, Sky Blue. And Fine Alamo, our main event for this week in wrestling. And it's a tag team match, playa, as the Gates of Agony, that's Bishop Khan and Toa Leona, take on members of the Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. And while Yuta does take some punishment in this match, he does get some stuff in. Definitely some quick tags to Claudio, who goes for a big swing on Toa, but Khan stops it. Definitely some more back and forths, including a pedigree from Bishop Khan, which that was interesting to see. Gates of Agony hit on Open the Gates. That only gets a 2 count. At one point, Claudio actually chases Prince Nana up the ramp. So it was 2-on-1 for a little while. Claudio comes back. Yuta with an Olympic slam. An uppercut into the fastball special for the Blackpool Combat Club to pick up the victory. A very eventful episode of Rampage. I do hope AEW keeps this up. And yeah, that'll do it for the rest of this week in pro wrestling. Hope you all enjoyed. Please like, comment, share this video around. And until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.